everyone, myself Shweta Shah and I am your instructor for the subject microprocessor and microcontroller. In this subject we have started unit 3, that is introduction to 8-bit AVR microcontroller. In this session we are going to see today the topic, that is AVR pin diagram and its function. Okay, so let us start with the topic which are going to be covered in this session. These are like, first we will see the 8MECA32 pin diagram, then we will see the pin descriptions and its function, and lastly we will see the alternate functions of port A, B, C and D. Okay, so this is the structure, or you can say chip, for the 8MECA32 controller. This is the DIP structure. It is having a dual inline packaging structure, that is it has a same number of pins on the both of the sides, and it is the 40 pin DIP, so 20 pins on each side. And this is the pin diagram for this 8MECA32. This dots denotes the first number pin. Okay, so here this is 1 to 20, then 21 to 40. This is the pin numbers. You can see here we have total 4 ports, that are port A, B, C and D, and then some other pins, like here we have port B, that is of 8 bits, so we have pins PB0, PB1, PB2 up to PB7. And here almost all ports has a dual functionality, so it also works as a input output port, and it also works as a some other function that we will see in the description. But if we see here, then this is the port B, from pin number 1 to pin number 8, then it is reset, VCC, ground, XTAL2 and XTAL1. Here we are going to connecting the crystal for frequency generation, okay, or for providing the clock. Then we are having the port number D, that is PD0, PD1 up to PD6 here, and then PD7 at the 20 number pin. Then we are having port number C, that is PC0 to PC7, and there is also some dual functionality. What is that functionality? That we will see in the description. And then we have ABCC, then ground, ARF, that is reference, and the port number 8 from PA0 to PA7. So this is the basic pin diagram for 8MECA32. Now we will see this each and every pins in detail. So here VCC is for digital supply voltage, and ground is for ground. So we are providing the voltage between the VCC and ground. Then we have the port number A. This port A serves as the analog input to the A to D converter or the 8-bit bidirectional IO port. Okay, so here dual functionality is A to D converter or the 8-bit bidirectional port, and this port pin can provide the internal pull-up resistor. Okay, for considering it as an input or output. The port A output buffers have symmetrical drive characteristic with both high sink and source capability. So you can use as an input as well as the output. When pin number PA0 to PA7 are used as an input and are exactly pulled low, okay, and they will source the current if the internal pull-up resistors are activated. So this current pull and current source are used to consider that particular pin as an input pin or the output pin. The port A pins are tri-stated when the reset condition become active, and even if the clock is not running. Okay, so it will be in the tri-state buffer mode. So this is the port A. In next we will see the port B. In port B we have pin number PB7 to PB0, and this is the 8-bit bidirectional IO port with the internal pull-up resistor that we have discussed for this port A. The same kind of structure is over here. This port B output buffers have symmetrical drive characteristic with both high sink and source capability. As input, port B pins that externally pulled low and will source current if the pull-up resistors are activated. That is same as the port A. Okay, and this port B pins are tri-stated when the reset condition becomes activated, even if the clock are not provided. Okay, and this port B also serves as a function of various special features that we will see in last. Okay, so this is the port B. In port C we are having the 8-bit bidirectional IO port with the internal pull-up resistor. This is the same as the port A and port B. So the port C output buffers have the symmetrical drive characteristic with both high sink and source capability. As input port C pins are externally pulled low and will source the current if pull-up resistors are activated. This port C pins are tri-stated when the reset condition becomes activated or the clock is not provided. Okay, if the JTAG interface is enabled, the pull-up resistor on the pins PC5, PC3 and PC2 will be activated even if reset is occurred. Okay, so this is the somewhat different thing. So if you are using JTAG interface, then this kind of work will be done. Okay, and the TD0 pin is tri-stated unless the TAP state that shift occurs and data are entered. Next we will see the port number D. This port D is a 8-bit bidirectional I/O port with the internal pull-up resistor and that is selected for the each bit. This port D output buffers has a symmetrical drive characteristic with both a high sink and source capability. As an input, port D pins are externally pulled low and will source current if pull-up resistors are activated. Okay, that means that is in an output configuration. This port D pins are tri-stated when the reset condition becomes activated and clocks are not provided. So that is the same structure for the port A, B, C and D. The port D also serves as a function of various spatial features of the 8MeGa32 that we will see in the next. Okay. Next pin is the reset pin. It is the reset input. Low level on this pin for the longer than the minimum pulse length will generate the reset even if clock is not running. Okay. So for reset you have to provide the active low signal and you have to provide that particular signal as a low for some duration and that duration is the pulse duration. Okay, so by using this reset you can reset the controller. This pulse shorter than the minimum pulse length are not guaranteed to generate the reset. So minimum that is required that you provide the duration that is of pulse length. Okay, then we have pins like we have XTAL1 and XTAL2. And this is the input to the inverting oscillator amplifier and the input to the internal clock operating circuit, and XTAL2 is the output for inverting oscillator amplifier. So basically this is the place where we are connecting to crystal, that is XTAL1 and XTAL2. Then we have the pin ADCC. ADCC is the supply voltage pin for port A and the A to D converter. It should be externally connected to VCC even if the ADC is not used. If ADC is used, it should be connected to the VCC through the low pass filter. Okay, so this is the ADCC, and last pin is the AB reference. AB reference is the analog reference pin for the A to D converter. Okay, so this is the reference voltage for the A to D converter. So these are the pins. Next we will see the alternate functions of port A, port B and port C and D. So first let us start with the port A. The port A is your input output port as well as the analog to digital converter port. Okay, so each and every pin of this port A that can be considered as an input output pin for the port A, that is PA0 to PA7. 8 pins are there, and it is also an analog to digital converters channel. So port A7 pin is also a ADC channel number 7. Similarly, port A6 pin is the also ADC channel 6. Okay. Similar way, you can consider all of these pins can be considered as a particular channel for the analog to digital converter. So this port provides the two functionality, that is the simple input output bidirectional port as well as the analog to digital converter port. Okay, so this is the port A. Next is the alternate function of port B. This port B has total 8 pin. From this PB0 pin can be considered as a simple input output pin. All of this pin of port number B can be considered as a simple bidirectional input output pin, and it also provides some other functions, and that functions are listed over here. So PB0 provides function as a alternate function as a timer 0, that is the external counter input, or the U-sharp external clock IO. Okay, that also provides the clock for the USART interface and also functions as a timer 0. Port B, pin number 1, can be also used as a timer 1 for the external counter input. Port B's pin number PB2 also can be used as a AIN0, that is analog comparator positive IP, or you can also use it as a INT2, that is your external interrupt number 2. Okay, that is the input. We can use the pin number PB3 as a input output pin, or we can use it as a AN1, that is analog comparator negative input, or timer 0 output for the matched output. Okay, that is OC0. So this is the dual functionality. Then PB4 can be considered as an input output bit, or you can consider as a SSP, that is the SPI slave select input, and this pin is low when the controller acts as a slave. So when you want to use it as a slave, then you have to provide here 0. Okay. Then we can use the pin number PB5 as a MOSI, that is master output slave input. When the controller is act as a slave, the data is received by this pin, and that is used for the configuration of master and slave. So this both pin are used when you are connecting this controller with another controller, and you want to use this controller as a slave for that controller. So at that time, these two pins can be used, pin number 4 and pin number 5. Then we have the pin number 6, PB6, and that is the MISO, that is master input slave output. And when this controller acts as a slave, the data is sent to the master by this controller, and through this pin you can transmit the data. So this is basically also function for the master slave consideration. And the last pin is the PB7, that is ST, also can be used as a SCK, that is SPI bus serial clock, and this is the clock shared between this controller and the other system for the accurate data transfer. Okay, so this is used for basically SPI protocol. Pin number A7 and the pin number 4, that is used for this slave SPI protocol. Then the pin number 5 and 6 are used for the master slave configuration, and all other pins are for some timers or some interrupt, etc. Okay, so this is the port number B, that you can use as a simple bidirectional port, or you can use as a timer or the interrupt or the master slave configuration or SPI protocol. Okay, so this is the port number B. Then we will see the port number C. This port number C has a total 8 pins that can be used as a PC0 to PC7, and that are the bidirectional input output port. This is the first functionality, and second functionality is the for some bits. For example, if we consider the PC0 and PC1 bit, then that can be used for the TWI interface, that is twisted wire interface. Okay, so that can be used for the twisted wire interface. That is the one kind of interface, and to connect with that interface, you have to use this 2 pin. Okay, then PC2, PC3, PC4 and PC5 can be used for the JTAG interface. Okay, so these are the these 4 pins are used for the JTAG interface, and PC6 is used for the timer oscillator pin 1, and PC7 is used for connecting timer oscillator as pin number 2. Okay, so these are these basically port number C is used for some other interface, with some other interface, like you can use for the twisted wire interface, or you can use for the JTAG interface, or you can connect with the timer oscillator. Okay, so this is the basic function of C. It can be used as a bidirectional input output port as well as this for this interface. Okay, and the next port, that is the port number D, it has a dual functionality. First functionality is common, that it is the bidirectional input output port, and second functionality that we have to see, that PD0 pin can be used as a RXD, that is for the USART input pin, that is used for the USART protocol, and this is the input pin for that USART protocol. That is USART is the serial communication interface. Okay, and so this is the first number pin. And then you can use this PD1 pin, that is TXD, that is the USHUT output pin. Okay, and that is the for input and output for the USHUT protocol. So pin number 0 of port D can be used for the input of USHUT, and pin number 1 can be used for the output of the USHUT. And USHUT is just a simple input output protocol for the serial communication. Then we are having two pins like PD2 and PD3 that are used for the external interrupt 0 and external interrupt 1. Then we are having the pin number PD4 and PD5 that is used for the PWM channel output, that is the pulse width modulated channel output. This is the one kind of waveform that required for some duration that value is 1, for some duration its value is 0, and so on. That kind of output is required whenever to on or off something. At that time we can use this pulse width modulation channel output. Okay, then we are having the last two pins, that is PD6 and PD7. This PD6 is used for the timer counter 1 for the input capture pin, and the PD7 is used for the timer counter 2 for the output. Okay, so this is the basically port numbers D, that is used for the USHUT protocol for the first two pins. Then next two pins are for the interrupt, that is the external interrupt. Then next two pins are for the pulse width modulation, and last two pins are for the timers or the counter. Okay, so this is the basically port A, port B, port C, and port D that are having the dual functionality. First functionality is the bidirectional input output port, and second functionality will depend upon port. Whether you have used port A, then it can work as a to D converter port. Whether you have used the port B, port C, or port D. That each and every port and each and every individual pin of that port has its individual functionality. Okay, so this can be used like this. So here we are ending our today's session. If you have any query, then you can contact